Hi everybody, I'm Jacqueline Bell and thank you once again for joining me today on the Divorcee Diaries YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about how to heal from any trauma that you're going through or have gone through in your life, whether it be a breakup or a divorce or losing a loved one, whatever it may be. I would like to share with all of you what I have found to be the most helpful practices for self-care. So I'll share my top 7 tips and best practices for all of you that have worked really well for me, because I don't know about you, but whenever I have faced a really traumatic experience, such as my divorce, but also losing a loved one, it can be hard to remember what it is that makes you feel better afterwards and how to take care of yourself. So I have a few tips I'd like to share with all of you, and if you're not trying them out already, hopefully they'll inspire you too. Tip number 1, meditation. And I say meditation because I find it so significant to be able to be with yourself, have some clarity of mind, even if you don't feel that way. I know for myself, I have had a hard time initially getting into a meditative space. Depending on who you talk to, a lot of folks will say, it's about having a clear mind and just focusing on your breath. And that is very helpful for me. Being able to just sit with those thoughts and sit with those feelings for 5, 10, 20 minutes at a time to really be able to think for myself, for what it is that I would really like to do in my life, or what challenge that I'm currently going through that I really need to process and understand for myself. And giving yourself that opportunity to talk to yourself and have good self-talk is very, very transformative. So I highly recommend it. If you haven't tried meditation before, I recommend being able to take a moment in a quiet space wherever you can find and to just sit. Just sit with yourself, whether it's crisscross applesauce or even lying down, and just focus on your breathing. And if your mind wanders, like mine always does, I think I have monkey brain, as they call it, just allow yourself to think about your breathing, and if it goes anywhere else, that's fine, let it go, and then let it come back to your breathing as often as you can. It'll be worth it in the end. Tip number 2. Journaling. Journaling has probably been one of the most significant things I've ever done in my healing practices, because like Oprah said in one of our Super Soul conversations on our podcast, when you write down something, it's as if you are expressing and letting it out, and you leave it on that paper. I've done this, let me tell you, I've done this in the workplace when I have a coworker that just pissed me off. I will write it out and not write great things, but I tell you right afterwards, I feel a lot better. So if you're going through this season where you are feeling extremely sad or lonely, and I mean, it's COVID, right? So all of these things are probably there, or angry, whatever it is, however you're feeling, or happy, whatever it is, definitely take the moment to journal it out, get those thoughts and those feelings on a piece of paper. I would reckon to say you're probably going to feel a lot better after it's all done. So definitely try journaling. Tip number 3, and this one I will acknowledge is a bit more around privilege, but I have had the most transformative experiences from it, and that has been to solo travel. So I've talked a little bit about this in my other blogs or in my other vlog, in my last vlog, but also in my blog and also in my social media accounts. I love traveling, and I love traveling more by myself. And that's just because it's a combination of meditation as well as one of the things that I love doing, which is traveling and seeing the world. And that has been something I've been very grateful to do. It's like a walking, actionable meditation, because you're with yourself, you're getting to know yourself, you're being able to find yourself again, that you don't necessarily get to have when you're with someone. And I have to say, I think being in a relationship is great if you can find the right partner, but being with yourself is so important, because although, yes, we are with ourselves every day, we don't really check in with each other, with ourselves. And I found it to be so worthwhile to be able to just ask myself, what do you want to do today? And doing every single thing that I want to do and seeing every certain thing wherever I go that just can take my breath away or just warm my heart. So I hope solo traveling is on your list if ever you're in need of some deep healing or coming back to yourself. That's a really, really good way of doing it. Tip number 4, running. Well, okay, or any type of physical activity. For me, it's running. It's always been something that I've enjoyed. I just really like running. Right now, it's probably more like a jog because I don't get to run as often as I would like due to COVID, but it is still something that I'm very passionate about. Being able to work out in general, whatever it may be for you. Maybe it's playing a sport, maybe it's lifting, or maybe it's running. For me, it's not just running, it's running and a podcast. I have to have both together. Otherwise, I just get really bored and my mind just goes everywhere. So I love to listen to my podcasts and run. I get to learn and be entertained while I'm also running and exercising my body. And before you know it, I'm, an hour or 45 minutes or 30 minutes, even 20 minutes, I'll take 20 minutes into a run. And I'm like, oh, that was really enjoyable. I got my endorphins going. I feel better, I feel lighter, and I feel better about myself when I'm able to exercise my body and really get a lot of those stressors out physically. So try something, whatever it may be that works for you. And hopefully that will also be something that will get those endorphins kicking and help with your mood and your overall healing. Healing method number 5, daily affirmations. And I say daily affirmations because these are the phrases, things that you say to yourself in the morning, throughout the day, and at night that are what you need to hear at this moment. And sometimes if we don't know what to say to ourselves because we're just not feeling it and we're still sad, that's okay, because there are a lot of affirmation cards that you can get. For example, this one will tell me a different one every day. And this one is, the universe supports me in every way. And that's absolutely true. But for me, I will say some days I just had to create my own affirmations in the morning, especially when I was getting divorced, especially during those early days. I remember feeling ugly and wanted, like no one would ever love me, all these crazy things. So don't you tell yourself that, okay? So I'm doing this thing called gravity, and now I'm walking on this. I don't even know what I'm doing. If that does happen though, just give yourself some positive affirmations and say it to yourself every single day until you believe it. That's what I had to do, and that's something that I feel like I still do to this day, honestly. When I'm feeling bad, I say to myself, you are beautiful, you are worthwhile, you are extremely intelligent, you are talented, you got to where you're at because you worked your butt off, okay? Because sometimes we are our worst critics. All right, so whatever it is that you need to tell yourself every single day in the morning when you wake up, tell it to yourself in the mirror like you mean it. And the more you expose yourself to that type of positive affirmation, the more you're gonna believe it. So definitely try that one if you haven't already. Tip number 6, counseling or therapy. I cannot emphasize this enough. Sometimes you just need to talk to someone that is an unbiased, trained person that has talked to many people who have undergone the same or similar type of trauma, such as a divorce or losing someone or going through a deep breakup. Whatever that may be, it is just so nice to talk to someone without any judgments, where you can just say, this is how I'm feeling and this is what's happening, and get affirmations of knowing that you're not crazy, like this happens. And all of these professionals that you are able to work with really are able to normalize all that you're feeling for you, because I highly doubt you're going to be any different than anyone else you've worked with. And they give you great tools as well with that. So do talk to a professional counselor or therapist. It will be so worth your while. And my last and final tip for how to heal during trauma is to embrace your friends and your family, whomever your family may be. it is, I've said this before in my blogs and also my vlogs about how instrumental my family and my friends have been in my healing journey, in my healing process. It is an insane amount of vulnerability that I shared with all of them. Some of them have never seen me cry. Some of them have never seen me at such a low point. I also lost a lot of weight. Some of them had never seen me in such a, being so small and being in such a traumatic state. And they were really the ones that helped me pack my entire house, move out into my new apartment, and sell my house. They were instrumental in making sure that I was able to get some money back in my investment and leave with money in my pocket after my divorce. And I can't thank them enough. But beyond that, they really helped me afterwards to get my life back in order. They checked in with me. They helped me create my blog and really have supported me in this endeavor. So I ask all of you to be vulnerable, ask for help when you need it, reach out to your family and friends, because that's all they really want to do in supporting you during this time. They're going to be really grateful for it, and you will too. So those are my 7 best practices for how to heal, specifically from a trauma. So what I also want to mention is that I share a few other ways that I also found helpful in my healing process. I mentioned that in my blog, so if you'd like to see what else I mentioned there, you can head to the show notes and the link will be included below. I also wanted to share that it is very important for you to reflect on what it is that really brings you life and brings you joy in your healing process and what you need. That's also very important. So do ask yourself what it is that you need if you're in a season that really needs healing. So with that, I'd like to say thank you all so much for watching this episode and for supporting the Divorcee Diaries. If you'd like to hear more about any certain topic, please do leave a comment below. If you want to just give some kudos, some affirmations, please also leave a comment that's nice for good karma. I don't think that's ever a bad thing. If you liked what you saw, please do give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe and share. I would greatly appreciate it. And I thank you all so much for being with me today, and I wish you all the very best.